Yeah, I'm continuing the streak of nice, impressive amps that have come in for service lately. Here's a black panel BANDMASTER. Interestingly, it has been converted into a combo cab, which is pretty cool. Here's the parts that have come out so far, as well as a couple caps I have in my hand. All those resistors were out of spec. Main problem being the two 470 ohm screen resistors being up over 550. All the small half-watt carbon comps were well over 10% out, and you can see I went ahead and recapped the preamp, the cathode bypass caps, with those nice mod axials there in the same positions where I replaced some out of spec cathode resistors basically. And you know, I was gonna leave the sprigs that were in there, but somebody did something that's quite a nuisance to me as far as craftsmanship. They cut off the previous cap legs and just J-hooked, which is, I don't get it. I mean, that's pretty lazy. You're already soldering there, so to not use needle nose pliers to just remove the previous cap entirely, I don't understand it. And since I was replacing those resistors and, you know, heating these up and everything, and they're only a couple dollars each, to go ahead and put nice brand new, you know, these sweet mod axials. And it looks like I need to touch a little solder joint there. And the phase inverter resistors were, the 100K was well out of spec and the 82K was high, although technically in spec, but going ahead to get those perfectly in spec to have a good output balance there. That 220K on V3A there was pretty far out. And so other than that, I'm going to clean and tension the sockets. Of course, spray the pots, burnish the jacks. There's the new screen resistors in place, 3-watt, 470 ohm. And everything else looks pretty good, although I have to redo the AC cord wiring from what I recall. I have to look at that and see why. But I think it's either not to code or there was something about it needs to be redone. Anyway, Blackface Bandmaster. And here's a quick look under the doghouse. Again, done by a previous tech. These can last ages. Not going to replace them unless it starts having performance or sonic issues related to filter caps. Well, I'll zoom in back in for just a second. I reminded myself what I didn't like about the AC cord. First of all, the ground is done under a transformer bolt. Don't like that. The AC receptacle is still in use. The ground switch is still wired to. I'm gonna eliminate all that and just go straight to the fuse with the hot. Right now, the hot is fused and switched, but also the ground is short, either equal length or as short as the other ones. And so, of course, I'm gonna make sure that's a little bit longer in the event that the AC cord gets pulled out. So anyway, once I redo the AC cord and, you know, clean and tension the sockets, I'll be able to sound check this, make sure the tremolo has appropriate intensity and is functional, and that should be that. All right, getting down to the nitty gritty. Sound check did not work, so I quickly checked voltages. The preamp had no voltage, no high voltage anywhere. And when I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of the previous work because of the way they did the capacitors. They, you know, cut the previous cap legs and kind of J-hooked in, which is fine on quick and dirty, like road repairs and stuff. But to do a full restoration on a black panel Fender that's worthy of, you know, real attention, I just don't like it. And they did the same thing with these carbon comps. You can see the kind of like jumbled mess there, and I was gonna leave it alone because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But when I had no voltage, watch this. That is one of the downfalls of being quick and dirty on your repairs and not being meticulous and thorough. So I'll replace that, and this amp will work. There we go, much better. And these are the transformers, 66 date code. There's also ink inside the chassis, factory, stating 66.